In 2009, the Packers revamped their defense behind a philosophical change to the 3-4. But Green Bay's most valuable player wasn't in the front seven. It was cornerback Charles Woodson.
Intercepted Woodson down the sideline. Touchdown, Charles Woodson.
Reeling at 4-4 at the midway point, the Packers caught fire down the stretch behind a defense coming into its own and a powerful passing game. They won 7 of their last 8.
Catch by Jermichael Finley, and it's a Green Bay touchdown.
In the wild card round, the Packers would find themselves in the midst of a shootout with the Arizona Cardinals. And after 4 quarters of NFL postseason record scoring, it was the offense, ironically, that fell apart in OT.
And Dansby runs it in a most unconventional ending to an overtime game.
When you finish in the top 10 in scoring offense and defense, as well as total offense and defense, keeping that team together is a good thing, and that's pretty much what Ted Thompson has done. Aaron Campman is now a Jaguar, but his loss is Green Bay's only one to speak of. The second of last year's 2 first-rounders, Clay Matthews, led the team in sacks with 10. He also reached the Pro Bowl. B.J. Raji was limited by an ankle injury and started just 1 game. Harrell has been a bust so far. Hawk, a solid starter. Rodgers became one of the NFL's elite quarterbacks in just his 2nd year as a starter. So Ted Thompson has his quarterback of the future, but really every other position is fair game for that 23rd overall pick. Say hello to Tom Pelissero of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. At number 23, who would you select?
Well, a couple of names are intriguing to me. The first one is Taylor Mays, the safety out of USC. 6'3", 230, can run the 40 in under 4.4. It's an interesting size-speed combo, and the strong safety can be a playmaking position in Dom Capers' 3-4 defense. Just look at Troy Polamalu in Pittsburgh. Mays could fill that spot. Atari Bigby, a 3-year starter here, but really hasn't played to his potential the past 2 years. I think that's a spot the Packers could look to upgrade. And the other one is Anthony Davis, the tackle out of Rutgers. Now, he's a top 10 talent, polished pass blocker, has been a 3-year starter out there. He's a guy who looks like he could be a left tackle of the future in the NFL. There are some questions with him as far as work ethic and maturity, but what better way to come in than to work behind a guy like a Chad Clifton in Green Bay, who's been a starter for so long here. Clifton just re-signed a 3-year deal, but if his body breaks down as it has the past couple of years, it could end up being a 1-year, $7 million pact, and the Packers could move on.
But Tom, last year's 7th-round pick, Brad Jones out of Colorado, did a nice job filling in for Aaron Campman. But with Campman now in Jacksonville, what are the chances of number 23 being used on an outside linebacker?
I think that's a possibility. From what I've heard from scouts, it seems like there is depth at that position. That could be a spot that they look in rounds 2 and 3. And you can't discount Brad Jones either. As you said, he did do a solid job. Now, once we got into mid-December, a team like Chicago that really challenged him, that physically muscled up on him, he did struggle a little bit with that. One of the biggest things for Brad Jones, go through the whole off-season program, get stronger, get more violence in his pass rush. That's Jones' challenge.
Tom Pelissero, thank you. And we continue the Packer draft thoughts with Bucky Brooks and Mike Mayock.
You know, Paul, with the loss of Aaron Campman, I think it becomes imperative to look at the young edge rushers in this year's draft. And I would start with Sergio Kindle at number 23. If Kindle's available, you're talking about a versatile edge guy. He's played defensive end. He's played outside linebacker. He's got a great first step. I think he's a better outside linebacker prospect than Arakpo was a year ago, and Arakpo went to the Pro Bowl. Now, another position of need is corner. Remember, MVP Charles Woodson is 33 years old. Al Harris is 35, coming off surgery. I like Kyle Wilson coming in from Boise. Kyle Wilson, to me, can play press man. He can play off man. And because of that, the Packers like a lot of press man, physical players. That's what Kyle Wilson is. And then lastly, I look at offensive tackle. If you can't get your edge linebacker, if you can't get your corner, how about Charles Brown? Okay, you've signed Clifton and you've signed Tauscher, but how about a developmental left tackle with long arms and great feet? That would be Charles Brown. He'd be ready to step in a year or 2 down the line. So I take a look at those 3 guys as logical players, Buck. Who do you like for the Packers at 20?
You know, I'm going to stay with one of your needs. I think offensive tackle, safety, and corner, they're all needs. I'm going to go with another corner. I'm going to go with Patrick Robinson from Florida State. We talk about versatility, the ability to press and play off. And Dom Capers' system, they want corners that can do both, and Patrick Robinson can do that. I think you put him in. They had nickel problems when Al Harris went out. You put him in as your nickel guy, which reminds me of Charles Woodson starting. He plays as a nickel for a year or 2, then develops into a starter.